Carpets, everything you could think of. Mold, pollen, dust mites, furniture particulate, smoke particles, insect parts, dead skin cells, hair. That's enough to get you started.
What is that doing to us when we start inhaling that, breathing that in day after day?
So for some people, it's making them really sick. It's triggering their autoimmune responses. People don't realize books are porous too. The pages can absorb moisture. Anything that can be water damage can be air damage. After a huge fire, the air can stay bad for a few months. The visible particles that you can see, that you can smell are gone. But what's not gone is all the stuff you can't see and smell, and everything that was absorbed into the soil, into the brick of your home, into the carpets, into the flooring, it's still in the city. That's the biggest thing, man. The thought of like, I'll just open a door or a window and get fresh air. But there's two parts of air. There's fresh air and there's clean air. Those aren't the same thing. If you are in a car, there's a human or two or three or four or seven
Breathing it in.
breathing in oxygen, breathing out CO2 in a confined space with minimal ventilation, which is why people often get exhausted, especially when you turn on your air conditioner in a hot day. It usually auto recirculates to be more efficient, but you are killing yourself in this little CO2 box. Of course you're tired.
That's interesting.
Who wouldn't want to save money and use less energy?
Yeah.
But most
At the
energy
cost.
efficient things are completely at odds with environmental health. How do we keep the cool in the summer and the warm in the winter? Well, keep out the air, and let's keep in the air.
Mike Feldstein from JASPR. Welcome to the Keto Camp podcast. Thanks for making it happen, my friend.
Yeah, man, what's going on? Happy to be here.
For those who don't know, Mike is so committed to be on the show here in person here in Miami, Florida, that he flew from Austin today. He posted some Instagram stories of you barely making your flight. You made it, came straight here from the airport. We're going to record this incredible life-changing podcast, have dinner, and then what's happening next? You're flying back.
Going home, arriving at 12:05 midnight tonight if the flight's on time, and then I'm going to kiss my sleeping babies and go to bed.
I love it, man.
It was good, though. I would way rather spend 5 hours on a plane. I usually only do one important thing per day anyway. So what's the difference? This is the most important thing I could do today.
I love it. I love the commitment. We appreciate that. Thanks for being here in person. If you're listening to the podcast and want to watch it and see us at the studio,
Oh, nice.
youtube.com/ketocamp. I want to start here. If the average person goes and they hire somebody to test what's on their rugs, their carpets, what's like in their air, their HVAC, and they run these tests, what are the things that will pop up on these lab tests that we see?
This carpet, lots of dog.
Yeah, because my dog's sleeping right
There's
there.
a dog right here. A great dog.
He's such a sweet boy. He's
Very
sleeping.
calm
Yeah.
dog. Carpets. So everything you could think of. Mold, pollen, dust mites, furniture particulate. If the neighbor was doing a renovation last week, there's certainly some 2x4 in there. Some smoke particles, insect parts, dead skin cells, hair. That's enough to get you started.
What is that doing to us when we start inhaling that, breathing that in day after day? And if our stress bucket's already so high, what is this doing to us?
Well, I think the human body is pretty amazing at dealing with a lot of stuff. Even we could say how bad the carpet is, but if we go outside, there's a lot of fresh air, but there's a lot of nasty stuff in the air outside too. So I think it really depends on the carpet. It depends on how disturbed that is, because like let's say we turn off your HVAC system and there's not air blowing on it and people aren't walking, very quickly that's settling on the ground. So it's a problem because every time somebody walks on it, when you hit the pillow and the sun's coming in and you see the big dust cloud, but until you hit the pillow, it was not disturbed, it was not airborne. So I mean, for your dog right now or the baby crawling on the carpet, it could be a little bit of an issue. Same thing with the dirty shoes from outside, but it's really an issue when it's disturbed. And I've noticed, and before getting into JASPR, I spent years in air quality testing and restoration, and I saw thousands of times, you go into a home, mold and high allergen levels and a bunch of other stuff. Let's say it's a family of 5, and two of them are chronically sick, one of them is a little bit sick, and 2 of them are perfectly fine. So I think a lot of this stuff is allergens, basically, or at least our body deals with it like an allergy. So for some people, it's making them really sick. It's triggering their autoimmune responses.
Yeah.
And then for other, just like another stress event. So what are they allergic to? What's sort of their body stress load now? Are they detoxing? I can't pretend to have enough data yet on like the commonalities. But to me, it feels very similar to like cedar fever and Texas. Some people literally can't breathe. and other people are unaffected. So it's kind of one of those things.
I think you nailed it when you said it depends on their stress levels. In other words, their stress bucket. We all have the stress bucket. If you think about our cells, we have about 50 to 70 trillion cells. Every cell is like a bucket. And if your bucket is full of stress from mental, emotional stress, chemical stress, physical stress, then adding additional stress, you get symptomatic. The people that you mentioned that are actually really sick from that environment, others that are not, have a stress bucket that is not as full. So it's kind of like, you have this glass of water here. And I'm just gonna hold
Good
it.
water you got.
Yeah, it's Mountain Valley. And I get it delivered. It's clean. So this is kind of full, right? Let's say this is like a stress bucket if you're watching on YouTube. If you shake it, add more stress, breathe in chemicals, etc., it overflows, you get symptoms, you get sick. But if your stress bucket is not full like this, you could shake it and be in that environment and not get a symptom. But the truth is, and I know you know this, Mike, so many people in America are sick. So these things are just adding to the bucket. And of course, we're going to identify some of the things that are in the house and what we can do about it. Of course, you've invented some technology to help with that. But you mentioned you got into this space. I want to know why. I know you were like an entrepreneur and thinking about marketing, doing marketing and different things. What got you interested in actually testing air quality in people's homes?
Yeah, man. So I went to university in 2009 and I had one goal: don't have a girlfriend. Let's do this 4 years.
That was the
go
goal?
to college. Yeah, that was the goal. I wasn't that concerned about school, really. I was more there for the fun and the experience. I already kind of was entrepreneurial oriented, and I knew this degree is just, it wasn't the thing that I was gonna start a business anyway. So I was more there to learn life skills and meet people and social stuff. Anyway, I met my wife on the first week. It took a year to seal the deal.
So not only did you not have a girlfriend, you got married in college.
I got married 10 years later to the same girl.
Oh, okay, got it. But a year later, you actually
Yes.
ended up with her.
Sealed the deal in terms of got in the door.
Understood.
And I was fixing cell phones when I was in school. I started something called Student City Cells. And that was just, I was breaking my own phone a lot. So I'm like, this doesn't look that hard to fix. I go to the store, I pay like $90. 1 minute later, here's your phone. I'm like, this looks better than school. So I watched some YouTube videos, ordered some parts from Asia, and started fixing screens in iPhones and Blackberries, the Pearl, the Curve, the Bold.
Yeah, I had several of those.
All those guys. Give people a little cool trackball. Business was pretty good for a 19-year-old. It doesn't take much income to feel rich. And I had to figure out how to get clients. So I built a little website, learned about making websites. And then in about 6 months, I realized this cell phone repair business sucks. It's very limiting. Charging $50 to change screens is not the life for me. But I was getting a lot of leads. So I got pretty good at like building websites and ranking things on Google. And I knew some people that were paying thousands of dollars for online marketing. And I was able to realize, whoa, these people aren't doing much for you. So I got into online marketing. And that lasted also about 2 years. And pretty quickly into that journey, though, I heard of something called the mold rush. Mold is gold. The mold rush. I had friends in the mold industry, and it was just strictly entrepreneurial. I'm like, why don't we do marketing for mold companies and take a piece of the lead, the fee, whatever. So it started off from being lead generation for mold removal companies, seeing A, the opportunity, B, how poorly these companies were run, and C, how none of them seemed to know or care really what they were doing. It was basically some contractors doing drywall removal with 10 times the price. And I'm like 21, 22. I'm like, this business sounds awesome. So I started rapid mold removal. And I threw myself in. I took all the courses, found someone who'd been in the business for a few years. And it quickly, within like the first month, I'm like, okay, we're making more money off mold removal than the entire marketing company. Let's just stick to mold. And mold led to flood, which led to fires, because restoration companies, the same guys that do mold, do floods, asbestos, fire, all that kind of stuff. So it was a huge moment, 2013, biggest flood in Canadian history. And literally there was water up to like the third and fourth stories of buildings downtown.
Wow.
Military shut down the city. Underground parkades 6 deep were filled to the top with water. It was wild.
From storms?
From a overflowing river.
Oh.
The mountains in British Columbia and Alberta, the Rockies, they melted too fast that spring. Doesn't take much to overflow a river. You know, those river bends, the Elbow
Yeah.
River, and it was a huge, huge flood. And I just kind of once again threw myself into it. I wasn't young, not much to lose, and honestly, like it didn't take that much to become an expert at removing a little bit of mold from a drywall. It took taking your job seriously, but the fundamentals were quite straightforward. Contain the area, seal off the area, bring in air filtration, remove the contaminated stuff safely, clean the room, test the air. And it was nice. We test before, you test after. We know we're cleared. Let's open the space back up. It was very straightforward. So the flood thing was wild because I had done a bit of flood stuff for the leaks from mold jobs, but not this. Our first job ever was the biggest hotel in Calgary that found us off a Craigslist post.
That's wild.
So
Who knew they would be searching on there?
it was actually Kijiji, which is the Canadian Craigslist, owned by eBay. But
Interesting.
It's classified post.
Yeah, it's Craigslist.
And we got like a bunch of calls off of that. And within an hour or two, I had a hotel and an apartment and all these people and a bunch of signed contracts. I'm like, okay. So I ended up I don't know. It's hard to imagine that this happened, but I hired about 55 people that week.
Wow.
I hired a landscaping company. I'm like, anyone who has organized humans, I need. So I found a landscaper, and I'm like, can you guys do this? So like when there's a flood or a fire, you know, people don't realize, but like if you have a painting company with 12 painters, they can also pressure wash. So it was often like finding medium skilled labor to do a way more important job and organize all of that. So I could never find 15 people, but it's like, hey, landscaper, you guys have bins, dumpsters, removal. You're used to moving rock from A to B. Like, I need your help demolishing this floor of a hotel. Can you help? By the way, can I pay you like net 30, net 60? Because I'll pay you 50% more than you're used to, but I need some time. So when you have no options, you get creative. I didn't know what debt was, so I just had to make these creative deals. Did a bunch of flood stuff, and now I had a little bit of money. Was in there for 2 months. And then between 2013 and 2017, I was basically in the disaster response business. So if there was a hailstorm in Kansas, I would set up rapid roofing, and I would set up my website, and I would do hailstorms. When there was a power outage in Toronto, I did generators for ice storms. I basically got good because I had the marketing website chops. I knew how to throw up a website in a day, get a phone number, and basically come do this disaster business. So it was purely through opportunistic entrepreneur stuff. But then I got to really see what this business was all about. And in Calgary, I saw that we had to hire these air testing guys every day to test for mold, every day on the job site to make sure it's a safe job site. But we had to pay them every day, but we don't get paid for months. So I'm like, when this is all done and I'm done with all the stress, I want to get into air testing where I can just wave my magic wand and get paid every day. I'm like, this looks awesome. So through that, it led me to air testing and fire. But the big moment, man, was in 2016, Fort McMurray wildfire, biggest fire in Canadian history. 100,000 people evacuated for a month.
Gosh.
One road in, one road out. No one died, which is
Wow.
unbelievable. Like I realized firefighters are actually heroes, and it's actually like wartime, like the flanks, and it was like a battle plan. And I got, we get the restoration guys get to come to town before the regular general population. So it's really amazing seeing these scenes.
What did it look like? Just like a war scene?
25% of the city looked like war scene movie Baghdad leveled, except for chimneys, because they just streets of chimneys. Everything else is gone.
Interesting.
75% of the city looks perfect, untouched. They don't put that part on TV. So whenever you see floods, fires, hurricanes, wouldn't really be news breaking TV if they showed the perfectly fine area.
For sure. If it bleeds, it leads. That's their motto.
Exactly. And so with the fire was the big moment, because I got to we were really cleaning smoke damage, not fire damage. So most restoration companies, they're getting calls for fires, kitchen fire, dryer vent fire, a quarter of your house is burnt, everything's black inside. This is different. The fire could be a mile away. It could be 3 miles away. But the toxic smoke is what did the damage. So it was unseen. You could go into a house that would look okay, and even because the whole city's in a plume of smoke, you couldn't rely on your nose either. You get nose blind. And but what I did know is the doctors and the pediatricians and the pulmonologists were 100x busy, because everybody the asthmatics, the people on CPAP machines, the kids on nebulizers. Like anybody who had anything respiratory could not survive. And the biggest moment of all that brought everything home for me was this one family. We cleaned their house, and like at the beginning, we do a basic clean, but then it escalated to we throw out every soft material in the house. Cleaning wasn't effective. We couldn't restore this. Your carpets, every book. People don't realize books are porous too. The pages can absorb moisture. You can water anything that can be water damaged can be air damaged. It's porous. So every book, the insulation in your attic, all your clothing, if we would wash it 5 times, it would still stink.
Wow.
So everything soft. We would repaint and seal your home. And then a week later, we get a call, baby's in the hospital. I'm like, what do you mean baby's in the hospital? We go back to the house. We test the air. Massively contaminated again. A lot more research. After a huge fire, the air can stay bad for a few months. Just because the smell's gone. I mean, the visible particles that you can see, that you can smell are gone. But what's not gone is all the stuff you can't see and smell, and everything that was absorbed into the soil, into the brick of your home, into the carpets, into the flooring. It's still in the city, especially if it's a valley and it's not coastal, so you don't have the big winds. So we cleaned the whole house. A week later, the air is just as bad as when we started. Called the insurance company. Hey guys, our mutual customer's house is recontaminated. The baby's in the hospital right now on a nebulizer. What should we do? My proposition was that they leave town again for another month. While things settle down, we clean the house again. Insurance said, like, sorry, so sad, too bad, man. We wrote the check. We're paying you. They signed off.
Awful.
See ya.
Yeah.
And it's like, I could see how this machine of an insurance company is like, yo, we're not prepared to pay for this cleanup 3 times.
Yeah.
And this family's like, we can't live in our house. And I'm like, we did our job. But I'm like, you know what? We did make pretty good money here. We didn't set our rates. Insurance just kind of pays you, and often too much. So I'm like, let's leave 3 giant industrial air cleaning machines there and see if what happens. So we put our air scrubbers, man, were like 70 pounds. They look like photocopiers or printers. They're massive. They're ugly. They're loud, but they're effective. So we set up 3, and within about 2 hours, the air quality was perfect again. So I'm like, hey guys, I know this is intrusive to your life, but if you're going to be home, you know what else is intrusive? Moving 5 hours away and living in it. Fort McMurray is 5 hours from Edmonton. That's the closest. Wow. Like, people think Texas is big. Like, all the provinces are that big. So massively isolated place. So we left these scrubbers there. It did a great job. And we left them there for 2 months. And then I'm like, you know what? This house happening at more and more customers' homes. I'm like, we don't have unlimited equipment. So let me go to Best Buy, Home Depot, and buy like 5 or 6 or 7 residential air purifiers, take them to the house, and turn them on. We did that. Well, nothing happened. The air went back to horrible right away. I'm talking Honeywell, Levoit, all your general $2.99, $3.99 kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And the analogy I like to use now is it's kind of like trying to heat a bathtub with a kettle. So kettles heat water for tea, not for a bath, not to heat your
It's not strong enough.
It's too small. So what we did basically was, I never lived on the West Coast, but wildfire smoke's a big deal. There's 40, 50 days every year between California and British Columbia that were like, stay inside today because the air is contaminated.
It even happened in the Northeast earlier this year, a few months ago.
It was like it's everywhere.
Oh.
But what they don't tell you, so let's say outside's a 250. That's really bad. Inside we have a 4 right now. 4 to 10, normal. Outside's a 250. They're like, stay indoors. Inside could still be 150. Relative to outside, you don't notice. But to really put a bow in the question of why I got into this all was I saw how much air was impacting people, especially after wildfires. And I saw when I went back to one customer's house and they had unplugged the scrubber. I'm like, you need this. They're like, yeah, but it's super loud and it's super ugly. I'm like, oh, damn, this is a problem. Even we all care about health, but we're only willing to the noise pollution was a new issue. So I kind of realized, I'm like, after this fire, this is my last disaster. And I really wanted to create an air purifier that was not let's make it small and pretty and cute and have an app. But I saw the residential things as teapots or golf carts. The commercial stuff was like tractor trailers or pickups. I'm like, where's the SUV at? So I'm like, we needed something that was powerful in nature, but also quiet and smart and beautiful. And I'm like, if it's not all of those things and it doesn't seamlessly blend into the decor and it's not quiet it's no one's going to put a few of these in their home ever. So I kind of set out on this few-year journey, but it was all born from really, I wanted to just create an air purifier specifically for wildfire smoke. I wasn't planning on running a regular company, just wildfire smoke. Whenever there's huge fires, my intention was, ship 1,000 to California, set up the local stuff. Same thing I did after disasters, and just come in for a short period of time and just focus on wildfires. That was so anyway, there's my long-winded answer, man, of kind of the journey of discovering air, how it matters, what we could do about it, and kind of like how I could play my little role in helping with the problem.
It's a very cool story. Fascinating. So you developed JASPR, and if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can see I actually always have my JASPR in the corner here, but I decided to put it here so you could see it. It's sitting right here, and we'll explain a little bit more about that. But I want to share with you, Mike, how I discovered JASPR. I had Ryan Blazer, a mutual friend, who's
That's my home.
That'sMyHome.com, building biologist. He's an amazing human. If you listen to the episode we did with Ryan a few weeks ago, you know the backstory, but he discovered mold in my home. He discovered hydrogen sulfide from the preserves. And we essentially said, we got to get out of here. So this is actually our new studio, mold-free, at least not the toxic mold we were dealing with. And I said, what can I do in the meantime, Ryan? I have this, I'm not going to name the other machines that I have. I have this air purifying machine, and I'm thinking about getting this company, which I won't name. And he said, that's a good Honda Accord about that other company. And I said, okay, what's like the Ferrari then? He goes, you got to get JASPR. I'm like, what's a JASPR? And he goes, oh, well, you haven't heard of JASPR? And then he like showed me the website. So I immediately bought two because I knew I was going to be at that house at least for a few more weeks until I left, and I could just take it to the new place. And then I added a third one. And I got to tell you, Mike, I love the JASPR, man. It's the best
for your
one.
business.
Yeah, it's the best air purifying machine I've ever had, and I've had several for many, many years. I've taught my students to get them all the time. I like how it blends in. I like the style of it. It is pretty big, but I don't mind that because I could put it in a corner. But what I love about it, number one, the settings, right? It's on right now, and you can't hear it. It's very quiet. Is that why it's called JASPR, like a ghost, or why is it called JASPR?
I'll tell you after.
Okay, tell me after.
I don't want to kill your thought.
So I love the settings of it because you could actually make it quiet and it's still on. It's showing me how many parts. What is it showing that? Particulate matter?
That is PM 2.5 in micrograms per meter cubed. It's kind of a mouthful. It's not ppm. But that's the normal scale that when you see outside, they're talking about the air quality from a fire or the pollution that day. They're always speaking in PM 2.5.
Got it.
So that's kind of the most popular air quality metric.
Understood. So it's showing that it's green and it's showing that it's excellent air quality right now. If I were to, let's say, cook on my gas, and I saw this when we first moved in, we have a gas stove and we didn't turn on the vent. And then I told my fiance, turn on the vent, we're using the gas stove. So it smelled like gas, and then I looked at my JASPR, and it was yellow, and then it went red, and I forget what levels it went to. So it picked that up, right, which is super cool. So it's showing me in real time that the environment is not safe. So maybe open up some windows and do some things in the meantime. One of the things I love about it too is that I have one in my bedroom overnight. Every night I turn it on and I put it on the full setting where now you could hear it, but it's like a white noise, and I actually sleep better with that. So I have that thing running 24/7 in the bedroom. I got 3 of them right now. So I have some questions on this, but I am curious about the name. What's the origin of the name? Yeah.
So I take naming things very seriously. Until there's a name, I got nothing. But once there's a name, it's like if you name your unborn child, now all of a sudden it feels more real.
That's true.
And it was funny. The placeholder name that I hated before was called Airvoxa. And I love that I hated it because it's so bad that obviously we're going to change it.
Yeah.
But I threw up I had a very basic logo, and while I was developing JASPR, I called it Airvoxa. I'm like, most traditional, boring name that I would expect to see on the shelves, but like it's at least feels real now. And I'm like, we need to find something better. And it was a long but casual process. One of the reasons why is I was doing Sarah Blakely's masterclass at the time. And she talked about why she called Spanx with an X and not like a CKS. Like Google, like fake names do better than real names. So I wanted to be a fake name. I wanted it to be sort of nature-y, and JASPR is a mountain in Canada. I'd like to say this was the full reason, but it wasn't. JASPR is a mountain in Canada. Banff is more famous, Banff, Lake Louise area. But if you go a few hours north, there's another mountain called JASPR, spelt JASPER. And there's companies that bottle the air in JASPR and sell it to China. This is a thing.
Really?
They bottle air.
What is China using it for? What are they doing?
Getting a whiff of some clean, fresh air.
Really?
Yeah.
So they
bottled air is a big business.
I had no idea. So they're bottling this clean air from Canada.
Yep.
Other parts. People from China are buying it. They're opening up the bottle and just breathing it in.
Yep. Like an inhaler, like a puffer, like getting a really fresh.
Because China's very contaminated.
It's got bad air.
Yeah.
But also, I wonder though, are they collecting it in the summer when there's wildfire smoke in JASPR? Because a quarter of the year it's the worst air. So kind of like mountain tree inspired, and then also the fact that it's not a real name. And
yeah, because it's JASPR, by the way.
I don't know why. I just really love names that like remove a vowel. You can get really cool names when you take a vowel
Yeah,
out.
you could buy websites and handles on Instagram that are easier. You're right.
Honestly, it was just weird though. Like once I remember being in the car. I can't remember. I was gonna hop on a flight that night. I was with my wife Rachel, and we were just riffing with names: flowers, trees, mountains, trendy kids' names now, but spelt incorrectly. Like now everyone names their dog in Kid JASPR. But no, the main reason though, like that I'm most connected to is the mountain. And that's why the A, like the tree logo is there.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, the world's best air purifier is trees, not JASPR.
That's right, man.
Outside. Ideally, we don't mess up the outside air, and the cleanest air is just the regular air outside. So it was kind of just my reminder that the tree is the real air purifier, and we shouldn't even need these things. But unfortunately, we do.
Yeah. I love the origin of the name. The name is cool. I love it, JASPR. I want to take a quick break from the video you're watching to share something with you that has made a big difference with my health and the thousands and thousands of students that I teach all across the world. Now, this is a unique device that has been shown to help with skin health, sore muscles, wrinkles, psoriasis, eczema, scoliosis, migraines, sleep issues, arthritis, acne, scar tissue, wound healing, relaxation, and also boost testosterone levels. What am I talking about? What is this miracle drug? Well, it's not a miracle drug. It's red light therapy. As you can see here, this is called photobiomodulation. And I use this red light therapy device every single day. Not only do I use it, my fiance uses it. Our dogs and cats love it. And the device I have here is from Bon Charge. Bon Charge has a different range of big panels, small panels, from affordable to ones that are a little bit more money depending on how much you want. And I love this product. I feel so good. And it doesn't take a lot of time to get all these benefits. I simply take off my glasses, which is Bon Charge glasses, by the way, turn it on, and I have it running for 20 minutes once a day. And turn it on, and as you can see, I just leave it there on my desk as I work. 10, 20 minutes per day will suffice, and it makes a big difference. You're going to notice a big improvement with your skin health and all the things we mentioned earlier in just a matter of weeks. So if you want to get your hands on this Bon Charge red light device or get their big panels, they also have panels that you could take on the go that are more affordable, then head over to boncharge.com/ketocamp and use the coupon code KETOCAMP to get 15% off your red light device, or as a matter of fact, your entire order. Any product, you can get 15% off with that nice coupon code KETOCAMP. So whether it's these Bon Charge blue light blocking glasses, their sauna blanket, or any of their awesome products, use that coupon code KETOCAMP at checkout. We'll drop a link down below. Go check them out. They are awesome. And let's get back to today's video. So I have some questions on the JASPR.
Hit me.
First question is, what are the things that this is picking up? It picked up the gas from my stove? Is it picking up mold spores? Is it picking up?
So it may or may not have picked up the gas from your stove.
No. What maybe the smoke?
It's possible that the VOCs could have been detected. Very likely what it was picking up would either be the cooking particulate, oils from the whatever oils you were cooking with, potentially.
Olive oil probably was.
Off-gassing from pans, depending what type of pan you used.
Interesting.
If it was like a non-stick for sure. If it's cast iron, it's got all that kind of old residue on it. But food particulate, it is more likely what it was because it doesn't have a carbon monoxide detector.
Okay.
The VOC sensor could pick it up and would ramp up the speed. So what is it detecting? So I just wanted to be clear on the cooking
that's
side.
good. That's good to know.
It's not like I would never want someone to think actually
it's not a carbon monoxide detector.
Not,
yeah,
I
let's make that clear.
did not put that feature in. My friend Dunn this week comes home, his house stinks, and his gas range was left on without the burner. and his wife was upstairs giving the babies a bath. House stinks. And he goes like,
my gosh.
what's going on? Runs, turns off the oven. Because she was in the house, she was nose blind.
Yeah.
She didn't even realize. Turned it off. Fire department came. Gas levels off the chart. And he's like, why don't you make your JASPR a carbon monoxide detector? I'm like, I don't want to give anybody a false sense of security. You should have several carbon monoxide detectors. They should be hardwired with batteries. This is not connected to your electrical panel.
That's a good tip.
So,
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, this will not detect.
So several
gas.
carbon monoxide detectors hardwired in is what
And
you're
that's
saying.
usually code and law, but it doesn't mean people actually follow it.
Yeah.
You know, when you buy a place, the home inspector will put it on page 263. But
right.
it's
And
one of
we're-
those little $50 things that could. I have actually been developing a carbon sensor.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if I'm ever actually going to launch it, but I always thought it would be better. You know, Nest made a beautiful carbon detector as well. But I'm like, why not make a carbon monoxide detector that also detects carbon dioxide and it's a full air quality sensor?
That makes sense.
So if we had 3 or 4 in the house, imagine it would look like the JASPR badge, very subtle around the house. So it would do the siren stuff as well. But if it's red, it would be detecting a bunch. It's like, really, what's a carbon monoxide detector? It's an air quality detector that only tests one thing.
That's right.
Why not also tell me if there's other things? So I'm not promising anything. It's not my priority, but I have been tinkering a little bit.
Yeah, if you release it, I'm going to be one of your first customers on that.
We'll let you know.
In the meantime, I'm going to look up the Nest one. So what is it testing? What is it doing for mold spores? That's a big concern of mine. So
Yeah.
what is this doing for mold?
So what it's detecting and what it's cleaning are two different things.
What it's cleaning is what I want to know.
What it's cleaning.
Yeah.
So the detecting, I'll tell you just because it's shorter.
Okay.
Detecting, the number on the screen is PM 2.5. That's particulate, smoke, pollen, dust, cleaning products,
Pet dander.
pet stuff, pollution, all that kind of stuff. But it has another sensor that you can't see on the screen, and that's called a VOC sensor, a TVOC sensor. So that's gases, chemicals. That won't. So you may sometimes see it kick up to fan speed 2, but still be green. And that's so like a dentist after they clean up,
Mercury.
or no, just when they're like cleaning between patients.
Okay, yeah.
It will kick up to fan speed 2. It won't go red and cause a whole scene. So the sensors on board are designed not. They work as educational tools, but their primary function is to tell the thing when to turn up and down without bothering you and give you a little bit of an indicator. What is cleaning is thousands of things. So unfortunately, a decade ago, when I got into air testing, like 8-9 years ago, it was $5,000 for a big air sensing probe.
Really?
That plugged into a computer that I had to get calibrated a few times a year for $1,000 each time.
What a pain in the ass.
The sensors on there now are under $100 on board on an air purifier. So I love the technology shift here. Right now, it's coming. It's coming. Right now, mold can only be tested in a lab. So we got to take a sample. You know, when Ryan was here, he collected it. He sent it to the lab.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. Theoretically, I mean, if you had a big microscope, we could test here, but it needs to be examined under microscopic imaging. So this can't detect mold. But what it is doing is cleaning and filtering mold incredibly. So it's like, you know, you could buy a water filter that's filtering thousands of things. It's not necessarily sensing them, but it sure is filtering them. So JASPR is incredible at particulate, great at particulate, good at VOCs. So it's very hard to be excellent at both because there's kind of, if you go like really good at one thing, you're compromising
There's
a
a
little
trade-off.
bit in other things. So what it's really good at is pollen, dust, mold, smoke. Remember, I designed it for wildfire smoke.
Yeah.
Wildfire smoke, though, I wasn't designing it for just tree fires. I was designing it for regional fires where 1,000 homes burnt, 400 cars, 6
Yeah, it's
factories,
serious business.
toxic wildfire smoke.
Yeah.
When we would open up people's furnace filters, they'd be red, yellow, blue, purple,
Jeez.
streaks of colors. I'm like, guys, if this got into your furnace filter, what do you think is everywhere? So yeah, that's what it's cleaning is particles. That's why like when I come in your house, it's awesome. Like,
How does it
feels-
smell? Good?
It does not smell like a house with a dog.
Okay.
It does not smell like a house that's cooking. It's easier. Usually you go and I just want to go outside and get a breath of fresh air. But when I came in here, like I can tell your CO2 levels are dialed in.
Yeah, I have the window cracked a little bit throughout the day.
The airflows, all the air stuff is quite good. Like, like this feels like a clean air environment, and it's not just JASPR and just particulate, but I can tell that your air overall is dialed in. Like when you come from outside, your humidity's dialed in. Like, it's nice to breathe in here. And a lot of people don't. Our human bodies are so good to a fault where we could eat bad things and drink bad water and breathe bad air and still get up in the morning. And
it's amazing, the capacity of the human. You said it earlier. It's like it's built so strong. It deals with so much. If you came to my previous place, it smelled like mildew. It smelled like mold. It smelled like sewer because the hydrogen sulfide. And we were kind of trapped there because we wanted to get in fresh air to deal with the mold, but the fresh air was not fresh. It was the hydrogen sulfide. So
just crack a window and bring in some fresh air.
Yeah, we couldn't. And our carbon dioxide levels were super high because there was not enough air in there. Did I say that correctly?
Not enough oxygen was displaced by carbon dioxide.
Yeah, Ryan tested, and it was I think like 1,400, and he said it should be around 700 or 800 because the windows, everything was sealed because we didn't want the hydrogen sulfide.
Outside's 400 for measure.
Outside's 400 for measure. Yeah, he was telling me inside should be around 800 or so, and to open up the windows to get it down, but we couldn't open up the window, so it was a terrible situation, man. And I'm so glad we moved here.
No, you got this place rocking pretty quick. I would not have known that you recently moved in here.
Yeah, we just moved in. Yeah,
That's crazy.
We've been busy, bro. We've been busy. I wanted to get ready for you. Make sure it was a good conversation. I have 3 of these. I have one in the master bedroom where me and my fiance sleep. The pets sleep. We also have 2 cats, by the way. I have one in my office because I spend a lot of time here, and then I have one just like by the front door. My house is about 2,200 square feet. So how much does this cover? Am I going to need another one? Or am I covered in terms of the square footage?
Yeah, so first to the outdoor thing. I don't want to lose that.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's the biggest thing, man, is, the thought of like, I'll just open a door or a window and get fresh air. But there's 2 parts of air. There's fresh air and there's clean air. Those aren't the same thing. The clean air needs to not have harmful particulates and stuff in it. Fresh air is pretty much looking at the CO2 levels. So if you are in a car and you hit that little recirculate air button, let's say you're at that 600-700 level that Ryan said you should be in. Within about 10 minutes, you could be into the 3,000 range.
Wow.
Like the evacuate the building level range, because the car there's a human or 2 or 3 or 4 or 7
breathing it in.
Breathing in oxygen, breathing out CO2 in a confined space with minimal ventilation, which is why people often get exhausted, especially when you turn on your air conditioner in a hot day. It usually auto recirculates to be more efficient, but you are killing yourself in this little CO2 box. Wow. Of course you're tired.
That's interesting.
And I wish I could tell you JASPR is going to give you more oxygen.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not an oxygen
I asked Ryan about that. He said, no, it's not. So that's interesting, the car thing, because for those who drive to work and it's a hot day, like it's always in Miami, and you spend maybe 30 minutes or an hour in that car, and you get to work and you're like, I feel so tired. Or you get home from work and
you're at the office.
You're at the office.
And the office
it's sealed. Everything is.
Energy efficiency movement got really serious in the 70s. I could see why. It's practical. Who wouldn't want to save money and use less energy?
Yeah.
But most energy efficient things are completely at odds with environmental health. It doesn't have to be this way, but the like broad answer of like, how do we keep the cool in the summer and the warm in the winter? Well, let's keep out the air and let's keep in the air. So without increasing filtration or anything else, like airplanes actually have it pretty good. I've tested air on planes.
Oh, I was going to ask you that. Yeah, they're good.
The CO2 is good. The CO2 can probably get up there, but the particulate level is like ridiculously clean.
They have air filtration throughout the plane.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
They do.
I wonder if you continue to test, if there's certain airlines that you see worse and some that are better.
I'm starting to test more hotels.
Oh, yeah.
So I hide a bunch of air sensors in the room and I wait for housekeeping to come and then I measure it. I'm going to start documenting this more.
That's a good idea. Create some content from that.
And I will say what hotel it is.
Yeah, put them on notice. Us know, please. Put them on
notice. These are easy. Guys, use a better cleaning product.
Yeah.
And put an air purifier in people's rooms. It's not a big deal.
On the topic of particulates, I remember Ryan had his meter and we were going around and it was registering. And correct me if I'm wrong, because you know this terminology better than I do. He was looking at particulates. Is that ppm, particulate matter?
You could let's go with that.
Okay.
Parts per million.
But anyways, the machine was showing that it was I forget the range, but it was above the range, and we were wanting to find out where is it coming from. So we were walking around with the meter to see if it increased and decreased. Went into my office, it decreased, wasn't there. Went upstairs, it started to increase and increase. And then we went to my the old bedroom, and then we had a master bathroom, and it was really going off the charts. And then we discovered that it was coming from this mosquito spray my fiance was using, because there's so many mosquitoes outside. Right. And when we put it close to the bottle, off the charts, and I sprayed the bottle in the sink and it went off the charts, and we threw away the bottle because of that, right? So these are things we can do to discover these toxic cleaning products and mosquito sprays that are causing some issues for us.
When I brought you back to outside air, you asked me a question.
The question was the range. My house is 2,200 square feet. Sizing. Yeah, I have 3. Am I covered?
This is a good question too, man. And it's something I'm happy to talk about on a podcast, because I have not yet mastered how to make a 10-second clip or a little image that conveys this concept, because, you know, Amazon trained the consumer to think in little nice filter checkboxes where we just hit extra large, please.
Yeah.
You know, what would you like? Uber Eats, what cuisine do you want? So people just say what their square footage is. Square footage makes no sense. First of all, you have 8-foot ceilings or 16-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
So it's cubic volume.
Yeah.
It's not square feet. You know, the marketer always wants to simplify, but sometimes it's not simple. So I refuse to just blanket say a square footage. So I'll talk through the different factors.
Okay.
If you have a HVAC system running, that's job is to balance and recirculate the air in your home, but balance the air. The JASPRs are going to get there's more air changes per hour. They're going to stretch to clean more air. For example, let's say you have a regular furnace system and we run the JASPR in one bedroom, closed room, on full speed. It's cleaning the air in the whole house. It's cleaning the air in the room, let's say 99%, but maybe 25, 30% it's cleaning all the air, because in every room, none behind me to use as an example, but
vents.
There's usually a return vent.
Yeah, these are the return vents right here.
And there's a supply vent.
Yeah.
So the supply brings the air in from the furnace. The return brings it back to the furnace to heat it and cool it, and off we go again. So if we close the door and we're cleaning the air in this room, well, the air is going to get supplied from the furnace, cleaned a bunch, and then returned, and then distributed throughout the whole home. So, however, if we had like only mini splits or baseboard heaters or radiators.
Yeah, because this house, there's only central AC in the middle of the house, the living room and kitchen. Every individual room doesn't have these vents are not blowing air. It's the individual ones. Yep. So it's a little bit of a different story here.
There's pros and cons. It means the bad stuff doesn't spread either. So it means when you're cooking, that cooking particulate will spread throughout the whole home, not here, because this is kind of like its own structure from an air perspective.
So that's a benefit there.
Yeah, it's a benefit here. Because you have that and this, the best system ever would be either split ductnesses in every room, not always practical.
Yeah.
And an air cleaning unit in every room.
So that's good. That's why this environment is legit.
Oh, very.
I'm happy to hear that coming from the previous environment I was in.
Yeah. So even if you're cooking there and there's stuff, this room is very controlled. So ceiling height matters. HVAC size matters. Other things that are factors also is the layout. Is it open concept, or is there 5 little rooms? Because it can only, airflow is kind of like water currents, right? You have like one pool heater, and then you have like 2 jets, and the jets are pointed in a way where they're moving, and then it's the same kind of concept. So air currents, I wish we could put on goggles and see air currents.
That'd be cool.
There's like an ocean in here, right? All the stuff we're breathing is because it's moving, and once the currents in a home like get established, they're fairly predictable. Like the oceans move in certain patterns. Air is the same thing. So based on the temperature, the humidity, the pressure, the HVAC, we got our air currents here. So that's why I have a hard time answering it. So best is kind of like, if you have one where you sleep, cleaning air where you sleep, awesome. 1/3 of my life, check. Mm-hmm. Where you work, the other third of my life, check. And then like the other big pollutant source in the home is like cooking living rooms. So it's like one of those situations where more is better, but 0 to 1 is a massive jump. And like let's say a company or talk says 1,000 square feet, and we say coverage. Is the air, what's considered covered? Is the air 30% cleaner in that 1,000 square feet or 99% cleaner? When we're talking about a water filter and I say it filters 99% of the stuff, it's pretty obvious what I mean. Pour the water in, it comes out the bottom. I'm expecting this water to be 99% cleaner than that water. With air, it's a little different. It's like saying, how much square footage does a space heater cover? Well, open your door and see how much we can heat this room.
Changes, yep.
Close your door, we can heat this room really effectively. So it's a little bit more nuanced. But I really, the thing that I want to convey to people is, what percentage cleaner are you striving for?
Yeah.
So in this house now, like if we shut that door and we fire this up and we test the air, I'm expecting us to be able to clean the air by like 95 to 99%. So we're cleaning it, but we're also bringing in some new air through your HVAC unit. So like if we can get like a 95+% cleaner air, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
And I would say through your whole house, you have 3 units. Your air everywhere, including the farthest corners where JASPR is, you're probably at like 80% cleaner air. Whereas if this house was 6,000 square feet, we'd still be achieving the 95 in here, but maybe it's 30% everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find a better way, a better analogy to describe this, but
No, it makes sense. I mean, the bottom line is if you're going to get one, that one should be in your bedroom because you're going to spend at least 6 to 8 hours, maybe more in that bedroom. If you work from home, that would be a place where you would put it. I work from home, so I have it here in my studio as well. And then if you want to get more like I did, that's what I did as well. I was thinking when you were mentioning, having this in your work environment, some people still have an office that they go to. I wonder if there's a way, and if you've seen this with an employee that works maybe for like a corporate office, they work with you to bring them in for their office, their cubicle, whatever it is, because not just that one person's going to benefit, but everybody in that room is going to benefit. How would they go about that?
So when I used to do air testing, I was doing a lot of commercial. And usually though, we were brought in when there's a problem. Companies don't usually look to spend money unless it's very obvious that it's going to make the money. So it was for a big company, big one in Toronto. And they called us because they had about 40 or 50 health complaints. And most big companies have something called a joint health and safety committee. It kind of they're separate than HR, but obviously like the complaint goes to HR, and then there's a joint health safety committee. All big companies have something like this. So they had like 40 health complaints.
Wow.
And the building owner, it's like a 40-story building. This company had like, let's say floor 5 to 12. The building brought in a company to come in and test. Big company also, 1,000 employees. They came in for about 3 hours, waved their wand, said it's all good. Then they called us. I remember I quoted them 18,000 to go out and test their place. They said their second highest quote was 2,000. I said, well, let's compare. So I said, before I can quote you guys, I need to first interview you. So I went and met their HR team and their joint health and safety committee. This was in my first 2 months in the business. My ignorance was my best friend. It made me take it way more seriously. And I did have a couple experts to engage with, but I said, give me the blueprints of your office, and then give me the desk location of the 40 sick people. And 38 of them were between floor 7, 8, 9 in the southwest corner.
Interesting.
I'm making up the floors in the corners, but
got it.
3 floors apart, all in the same corner. No one else even asked that question. I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, we have 1 corner and we have 3 floors, and almost the other floors are pretty much good. So then I'm like, okay, let's check those floors. Well, what did I find? I found in the 9th floor, 2 things. And then I also, now that I narrowed it in, I went to the the maintenance guy. I said, what renos were done on the 7th, 8th, and 9th floor in the past 2 years? So he gives me all their maintenance logs. Well, there was leaks and a window that was replaced. So the water issues happened from the exterior of the building and the bathroom, trickled down the floors, and they had a bunch of mold. And once I tested, like, when Ryan was here, he probably took like 5 to 8 samples. I took like 120.
Wow.
Cultured them, grew them, sent them to the lab, tested all the floors, tested bacteria, mold, like all airborne bacteria. Like, this is no joke. And so this is usually what prompts it when we were like serious kind of mold detectives. And then, they dealt with the construction, cost them a few $100,000, and everyone's doing better. So we were usually getting those like we got another one for a food company that sells produce to every grocery store. And well, the chlorine tomato washing station. So employees were leaving work at the end of the day, and sometime after they would leave work, their eyes would burn and they would lose their vision for a couple hours. We're like, I don't even know where to begin here. I brought in serious industrial hygienists. What ended up being the issue was the cleaning product that the cleaning contractors were using overnight was having a chemical reaction to what they were washing the tomatoes with, and probably all the produce.
Right.
So that reaction then had a delay. And then when the people would leave that environment, go outside for fresh eye, their eyes would burn on the way home. It was as simple as the cleaning company had to change their cleaning product.
Resolved it.
So it's not, so now I do think it's still new, but the same way that the employers are like, let's buy our employees a great chair, a great desk, a good monitor, a good mouse, a good keyboard, like clean air, clean water. It's kind of the obvious next step.
Yeah.
So very few companies are thinking about it. During COVID, some companies bought like 50, 100 for their at-home employees.
Good.
Still rare, still new, but there was an amazing study that showed the cognitive performance increase of chess players based on the air quality. And that was like a large, big, if someone just types in like air quality chess performance study, there's tons of stuff like that. I mean, if it helps you sleep better, it's going to help you perform better. One little tip, by the way, when I was in your bathroom.
Yeah, what did you discover?
Not a big discovery, but it's a little hack that I started to think about recently was garbages that have lids and are sealed are just better. Like we use like mesh trash cans, even if you're taking it all the week, whether it's blowing a nose, wiping a counter, like the things that are in the garbage are garbage. So putting them in little open airflow convertibles, not the most optimal, and like hard to be like, take out garbage every day. And like, are trash cans with lids perfect? No, but they're pretty sealed. So they're not perfect. It's kind of like the most extreme thing is this diaper genie. Young babies, people have a diaper pail for the baby.
Oh boy.
This is a passionate one for me. I got two young kids now. And I told my wife she had the diaper beanie, she put the diaper in there. I'm like, every time we go in the kids' room, like, it smells like poo in here a lot. Maybe we should like throw them outside every time. She's like, it's so much work. I don't know. Like, fine. And how about tonight we put the diaper genie in our bedroom and I'm going to sleep on the couch. And just like this little baby can't speak. She's got little tiny baby lungs. And I'm not sure if this is nice for her. So maybe tonight you try sleeping with the diaper genie. She's like, I'm not sleeping with the poo. I'm like, maybe baby shouldn't either. She never used the pail again. Because like, man, human body's amazing. And if you think about it, we're taught the five senses. I was thinking about on the airplane, man, when I was flying here today, I was thinking about the five sense thing that we're taught about. Try to remember. I actually forget what the fifth sense was. What are the five senses?
Sight, smell, touch, hearing,
taste. So I've decided to revamp them. And I want to remove touch with feel. Because touch makes you feel like it's just tactile finger stuff. What is the sensation, though, of feeling? Is that touch? Because, for example, if, we check the weather and stuff. But if we go outside and say, what temperature is it? You're going to be within a couple degrees accurate.
Yeah.
So you have a thermometer built in. And we've trained our body thermometers, cold, hot, we know the temperature, freezing water, boiling water. We've kind of taught ourselves based on comfort, thermal comfort for our body. We haven't calibrated the rest of our biosensors. And I take this stuff really seriously because you smell gas. Body knows not good. You smell bacteria, you smell garbage. That's a feature that your body's saying is like, maybe get out of this environment. So what is the sense called? So if I go into the desert, it feels dry. If I go into the rainforest, it feels humid. We all know what a steam sauna feels like. Well, that's because your body has relative humidity sensors on board. So then I go deep down this rabbit hole. I'm like, what other sensors do I got? If I blindfolded you and put, garbage or poo in that corner,
I would know it was there.
You would find it right to that corner.
Yeah.
So you're like, how does the shark smell the blood 2 miles away? It's like, how does the human smell the poop 20 feet away? You literally can detect through air currents where it's coming from, make your way over there and find it. So like, yeah, we call it smell, but like you kind of have a bacteria sensor to detect the danger. Well, the reason I'm able to come in here and be like, CO2's low, no molds, particulate levels low, is because I've taken the time to calibrate other biosensors. And I'm excited, like, what else do I have? Because if you've been in 1,000 homes with mold and you've tested it, I was able to calibrate my sense against the lab data. If it smells musty or moldy, I've never been to a place that smells moldy and wasn't moldy. And I've almost never been to, like I was joking with Ryan Blazer about this. So when Ryan was at your house, it was probably many hours.
Yeah, it was all day.
All day.
All afternoon and then into the evening, yeah.
Me and Ryan joke about this all the time. If he just had to tell you what to do, yours was a pretty unique outlier situation with the mangrove stuff. Yeah. But 99% of the time, Ryan knows in his first 5 minutes of the house,
Yeah.
just instantly being there,
I believe that.
it'd be like, guys, save your money. Here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
The rest of it's just adding data to it because literally, So, you know when it's stuffy and you're in a classroom and you're like, I got to get fresh air. Yeah. Your biosensor has a CO2 detector. Pretty awesome. So I've just been really thinking about these 5 senses a lot lately. And when you can empower your human to listen to your other, when you feel crappy after a bad meal, it's a feature, not a bug. It's telling you, but like if you only eat bad food, you lose the sensitivity to listen to that feature.
That makes total sense.
So I really think a lot of this allergies, what is it called when I have an allergic reaction? Another sweet feature. So I've really been thinking a lot about all these other sensors that I've uniquely got to train that aren't difficult if you actually listen to them. If you actually listen there and you'd be like, if you go outside and it's better to breathe outside than inside, this is a fixable problem for you.
That's a clue. Yeah, I love it. The body's always communicating with us. I love it. And I talk a little bit about that when it comes to symptoms. They're gifts. They're check engine lights. It's giving you an idea. Pay attention to it. So I love that as well, Mike. Hey, for those who are watching and listening, we got something special for you. This is something that Mike thought of, so you could say thank you, Mike. If you
This
want,
is the first time we've ever
first
done
time
anything
you've
like
ever
this.
done anything like this, and it's only for the Keto Camp podcast listeners, and then also those are who are on YouTube. So this episode is airing today. If you're listening to it on the day of release, which
now.
is Friday, December 8th, that's today, and we have a coupon code for you to get a JASPR or 2 or 3 or 20, however you want, and the coupon code is actually 40% off for the next 7 days, meaning until December 15th at 11:59 p.m. That coupon code will get you 40% off of your JASPR air purifying machine and whatever else you want to get on the website. After December 15th, it's going to also be a good discount, which is 20% off. So if you're listening to this or watching this after December 15th, 2023, still a great deal to get it at 20%. But hey, if you're one of the blessed ones who's listening right now and it's actually between the time frame of December 8th and the 15th, go to the link in the podcast notes or the YouTube notes, and then during the checkout, use the coupon code KETOCAMP, KETOKAMP, no space in between, and you'll get 40% off. Mike, thank you so much for doing that for them.
I would rather give the money to your audience than Facebook and Google and big fancy. We don't do big fancy advertising. So my thought is just make a good product and then communicate what you do. And I'd rather companies need to advertise. I'm like, instead, what if you just gave people really good deals sometimes? So
great.
That is the hypothesis that I'm going for here.
One of the things that I respect about you, many things, but one of the things is that I bought all of my JASPRs. It was not given to me. You don't give anybody free JASPRs, and you don't give any influencer. You don't give.
I've given a couple before.
Okay, you do.
Almost never.
Why not me? No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
I've given a couple before.
So it's rare.
I don't do it anymore.
So you don't do it anymore, and I like that because it shows that the person who's promoting it, me, actually uses that. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff that I get for free that I still promote, but I respect that. I actually paid for my 3, right? I'm actually going to buy another one for my mom. So I'm buying them myself, right? So I hope this
use
makes
code KetoCamp 40%
use
off.
code KetoCamp 40. I will use my own code.
Well, the reason I have to do that, man, is the same reason that for a conversation for another day, but I developed it for wildfires. We launched during COVID and we sold 99% to dentists and doctors for the first year. They wouldn't buy it unless it was $2,000 because our competitors were thousands and we were better. At 1,000, they didn't give us the time of day. At 2,000, we couldn't keep it in stock. And with shipping and COVID, our prices it cost us over 1,000 with shipping back then. And we got into this medical world and it was all doctors and all dentists. And then patients started to see it with the asthmatic child and they asked about it. We had no e-commerce online. You'd fill out a form, you'd call us, we would talk to you about all your air issues. And then we would tell you if you need them or not and how many. This was an offline business until February 2023.
Oh, wow.
All offline. You'd call us. I was like the mold inspector / air purifier guy. And the only people that we hire, I don't have customer service department or sales. I only hire air quality experts who have been in the field for years who want to come talk about air. So if someone hits us up on live chat, we'll call you, talk to you for 25 minutes about your situation.
I hit you guys up on live chat and you actually responded to me.
I'm on it all the time.
Yeah, you were. It was like Mike. It was Mike who was chatting with me before I knew you.
Yep. I like that. I like this size business, but the whole realization for myself when we were 1975, I'm like, honestly, if I was going to buy them, I'd buy one because there's $600-700 air purifiers that are cheaper. Some of them clean the air just as good, but they're loud and they're ugly and they're annoying and they have bad warranties. So we kind of, but bottom line was I realized that if I wouldn't buy what I'm selling, then it's kind of making me full of shit. If I need to be able to buy what I'm selling, and I felt this lack of alignment. So I realized that if I wouldn't buy what I'm selling, I can't sell it. And if people who want something for free, I don't want those types of people promoting it to their audience because they don't believe in the air problem enough. You know what? If they said I have a bunch of other air purifiers, fine. But if they're not at least believers in clean air, clean food, clean water, and living the life, like I've seen your house. I got here, clean coffee, clean water. It's a dialed in house. Like this is how I would hope that someone who's talking about health is living. And it makes me very happy to see that. When I mentioned the garbage, you actually took your own little note
I did.
there.
I'm putting a lid on.
You actually bought these things.
Yeah.
And I would rather work with way less people, but people who are committed to what they're doing. So yeah, for that reason, if you hear someone talking about it, it's because they have them and they paid for them.
I love that. Hey, Keto Camper, I want to interrupt the video real quick to share with you what I believe is one of the most important nutrients that we should be taking every single day. Most people are deficient in this nutrient, and it's responsible for over 400 enzymatic activities in your body. And your body just doesn't make it. So it's required to be taken in a high quality supplement or from high quality foods. The problem with the food is that our soil is depleted and it's hard to get this quality nutrient. So what is this nutrient? It's called magnesium. But I'm going to share something with you very fascinating. Check this out. Upgraded Formulas has this incredible product called Upgraded Magnesium. And Barton Scott, the developer of this product and company, he's a brilliant guy. He created nanoparticle magnesium, which has the ability to penetrate your membranes and go right into your cells. There's a 99.99% absorption rate. Now, this is unheard of because with other magnesium products, you better believe it's not that high. And there's an interesting study they're doing with Upgraded Mag I want to share with you real quick. Early results from a sleep study with Dr. Sachin Patel showed that the average doctor in the group using this product has achieved an improvement of over 35% in deep sleep. More sleep studies and a double-blind controlled placebo study with upgraded magnesium is coming sooner. And you better believe those results are going to be super exciting. We already know this. Upgraded magnesium is easily the best supplement you can take for better sleep, including deep sleep, muscle aches, cramping, and any other signs of a magnesium deficiency, which is so common, unfortunately. What makes Upgraded Formulas unique, as I mentioned, is that it's a nanoparticle. This means it is absorbed very rapidly and efficiently by your blood cells. They produce a plasma-like version of minerals that the body recognizes and absorbs without digestion. And the results are phenomenal. I really believe just taking this for a couple of nights, you'll notice a big difference. So if you want to get Upgraded Formulas, Upgraded Mag, and any of their products, they also do some incredible hair mineral analysis test to see your mineral imbalances and deficiencies, etc., and other incredible products that we've referenced before. Head over to upgradedformulas.com and use the coupon code KETOSIS to get 15% off your entire order. That is upgradedformulas.com. Coupon code is KETOSIS to get 15% off your entire order. I'm going to drop a link for you down below in the notes of this video. Okay, let's go back to this video. Final question is, I end all my conversations with this question. I talk a lot about a supplement, Mike, called vitamin G. Have you heard of it? Mm-hmm. Vitamin G is anti-inflammatory.
Only from you a little on Instagram.
Okay. Like so you know what I'm getting to, right? No, okay, you don't. Okay. So vitamin G is anti-inflammatory. It produces oxytocin and dopamine and GABA in the body and the brain.
Okay.
And it's my favorite supplement in the world. It helps extend longevity. It helps with inflammation. It helps with just pretty much everything we're seeking. So vitamin G is gratitude, appreciation. And I want to ask you what you have vitamin G for today as the last question.
Vitamin G. I spend a lot of time thinking about gratitude.
I could tell from your emails and your email line.
Which one?
You have the bottom part where it shows what you're doing, all the things you're grateful for. Yeah.
Yeah. The bad answer, I'll go deeper, would just be like health. like the fact that I'm not in pain right now. I've been in a lot of pain and discomfort. So whenever there's a day that I'm not in pain, that's a pretty awesome situation. Right now I'm incredibly grateful for a wife that actually supports me to, it's a lot of mutual support, a lot of traditional values in our family, but like I felt completely empowered to hop on if I send her a text right now and says, "Hey, sorry, I'm spending the night," I don't get pushback. She would just say, I know that you would love to be here with the family, and I trust that this is the best decision for everyone. So I will give my gratitude and my shout out to Rachel,
Awesome.
who's holding down with the kiddos at home and empowering me to do my thing.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel, for that. Because we're all benefiting now that you're here. We're going to put all of the references we mentioned. We'll put Mike's social media, JASPR social media, their website, and that coupon code down below for 40% off. Hopefully you take advantage of that. And again, if it's past that deadline, you still get 20% off. Thank you, Mike, for coming to the show, man.
Let's go get some dinner.
Let's go get some dinner, and then you're back to the airport, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
This was fun.